Have you ever noticed that the coaches or consultants out there that are creating the most helpful content are very often the ones that are really struggling to convert that engagement into actual sales? Like they're posting daily tips, actionable strategies, and genuinely trying to serve that audience, but their DMs are filled with people asking for free advice instead of ready to invest clients. Meanwhile, there's other coaches and consultants out there who are sharing fewer how-to tips, and somehow they have a wait list of premium clients their way. So the difference here is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to challenge everything that you've been taught about adding value through content and show you what actually converts your audience into actual buyers. Because the add value approach that's been preached in the content marketing world for the last kind of decade is very likely the thing that is truly repelling clients. And it's time that we talk about it right now. So for years, we've been told that the key to building an audience and attracting clients is to add value through our content. Give away your best content for free. Be so helpful that people just have to work with you. Show them what you know so that they trust you. Build that know, like, and trust factor, right? And that advice sounds pretty logical, right? Like, let's really build trust and that should convert to sales. But what happens when you follow that approach is very likely that you end up attracting people that are looking for information, who consume your content, but never actually buy. You're training your audience to expect free solutions instead of paid transformation. And you're positioning yourself as a teacher rather than a real transformational expert, which means that you're spending countless hours creating content that gets engagement, maybe, but zero sales. So let me get real with you. Adding value in your content was really designed for a different era of marketing. It worked really well when there were fewer coaches, less content, and people weren't really overwhelmed with so much free information. Power buyers today, they're drowning in content, right? They've consumed strategies and tips and frameworks and all the things. They don't need more information. They need the thing that's actually going to transform them. And if your content is still focused on giving them more information, you're speaking to the wrong part of their brain entirely. Because power buyers, and we're talking about the people who are action taking, ready to invest clients who actually you want them to hire you, right? They consume content very differently than information seekers. They're not looking for tips that they can implement on their own. They're looking for experts who can guide their transformation. They're not evaluating your content based on how much free value you're giving them. They're evaluating your content based on how you truly and clearly understand the situation that they're in and how confident that you are in the ability to solve that problem. So when a power buyer consumes content, they're really asking themselves, does this person really understand what I'm going through? Do they see something about my situations that everybody else has missed? Are they the expert that I need to be able to get me the results that I'm looking for? What's not on that list is like, I wonder how much free information I can get from this person right here. Or what is the actionable advice that they're sharing that I can implement on my own right now? Or how much value are they really adding to my day? Let me quantify that. So this is why your very helpful tip-heavy content is not really converting. You're optimizing more likely for engagement or even like saves in your content for those information seekers rather than power buyers. So instead of adding value, what you need to do is to prime demand. So demand priming content doesn't give people more information to implement. It helps them see their situation in an entirely different way, creating demand for your very specific solution. So let me show you the difference. Like instead of saying something like, here are 5 ways to improve your morning routine for better productivity, you would say, here's the real reason why your morning routine isn't the problem and what actually is. Or instead of saying like how to set boundaries in your relationship, you would say the hidden reason why boundary setting fails for high achievers. Can you kind of see the difference here? Like the first examples are all about giving people something to do, whereas the second example helps them see something that they haven't really seen or realized before. So going from position yourself as a helpful teacher, we're moving into position yourself as an insightful expert. What I find is that effective demand priming content really includes 4 elements. First, you need to point out patterns that your audience hasn't even noticed. So what that does is that it shows your expertise and it helps them see their situation really clearly. So for example, so instead of saying something like how to overcome your limiting beliefs, you would say this is the very specific type of limiting belief that only affects high achievers and why traditional mindset work doesn't work at all or actually makes it work. So then you would introduce concepts and frameworks that position your approach as really unique. I find that this is what really differentiates you from other experts in your field. And there you're able to reveal why those surface level solutions haven't really worked for them before. So what that does is that it creates demand for your deeper approach. And finally, you're going to position your approach as the logical next step without giving away your entire methodology, right? Demand priming content is more effective than value adding content because it creates the type of engagement that we want, right? Instead of attracting people who want free solutions, you attract those who recognize that they need professional guidance. I find that it really does a great job at positioning you as an expert, which means that you're seen as somebody who offers something that nobody else out there is offering right now. And ultimately, it builds anticipation for your solution. So instead of satisfying their need for information, you're creating desire for that very specific approach that you have. What I want you to understand is that your audience doesn't really need more information. They need insight. They need transformation. They need to recognize that you're the expert who can guide their journey right now. When you shift from trying to be super helpful to being more insightful, I find that things really change because your content starts attracting power buyers instead of those people who are thinkers that are looking for information. Your engagement now becomes more qualified. So people booking calls with you and people actually buying, which means your conversions becomes easier because these people are pre-sold, right? And ultimately, you're not giving away that transformation for free and you start creating demand for your paid solutions. When you master demand priming content, you're going to find that people don't just engage with your posts, they become eager to experience that transformation. And that's when content marketing actually really starts working for your business instead of kind of like going against it and burning you out in the process. For me, what I really focus on in terms of demand priming content is making sure that when I hop on a call with somebody, they're already as pre-sold as possible. They have a curiosity for what I do beyond like the normal, like, well, let me kind of see, but really want to understand my unique perspective, my unique approach, my unique way of doing things because they see that it's something different, that it's something that they haven't heard before. And because of that, once I have a conversation with people, they're often really eager to get started, to move forward, to take action. So to give you an example, because of how we do demand priming content and how it shows up, which mind you, I do it everywhere, whether it's on this podcast or videos, whether it's on my webinar, which you can watch at readytoinvestclients.com, just plugging it in there, or whether it's through my emails or my posts or my short form videos, or if I'm going on a podcast somewhere to be interviewed or I'm on a call, my content is really focused on demand priming or priming demand, right? And so what that does is that it really primes people, prepares them for what we do. This is the reason why this month, believe it or not, we have an 80% close rate on our sales calls and making it one of the biggest months we've had probably in the last 12 months in our business. And all of that is because of how we're priming demand through the content that we're sharing and attracting the right people. If you want to know, how do you optimize your content? How do you optimize your message? How do you optimize your marketing in order to be able to create more demand and focus less on just free content that they can find anywhere? Honestly, like using ChatGPT by this point. How do we do that? Let's hop on a free 15-minute brand message assessment, which you can book at brandmessagesession.com. You'll find all the links underneath this episode. And on that call, what I will do is I will take a close look at your marketing, your messaging, your website, and give you very specific insight into how you can personally optimize it all to make sure that your content starts creating more demand for what you do so that you're priming your people, so that they take more action and move forward. Make sure that you book it below and make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. And make sure you follow me at Fabi Paolini and let me know in the comments below. Are you just giving a lot of tips or are you ready to prime demand for your buyers?